views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Tracie Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. And here's what's coming up in today's special Christmas show. Ho, ho, ho. Leading things off, we'll hear about A Christmas Carol, the musical, an off-Broadway adaptation of Charles Dickens' holiday classic, A Christmas Carol. After that, we'll learn how to wrap our last-minute holiday gifts when we speak to professional rapper, DIY expert, Bee and Bloom's founder, Tracie Garrett. Then we'll speak to Kay Elle about her food and lifestyle blog made by Kay Kitchen, her 12 days of giving, and what she's doing to support her community. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on singer and saxophonist Gabi Rose, who will perform her latest single and something special for the holidays. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, you can follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So it's the holiday season and everyone loves a holiday classic, whether it's in film or a TV special or a musical. So our next guests are part of the off-Broadway production, A Christmas Carol, the musical, a re-adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic holiday tale about the joy of community triumphing over selfishness. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome Brenda Bell, Eric Fletcher, Sue Ellen Mandel, and Andrea Woodbridge. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being in the holiday spirit, Eric. Woo!
Yeah, got to represent.
Yeah, except yours says Scrooge. I don't know about that. oh, it says bah humbug. What does it say?
It says bah humbug.
Bah humbug. Right. So,
you can't have Christmas Carol without it.
Of course. But welcome. And again, I would like to open up with Brenda, because Brenda, you're the playwright. I know you're also one of the performers, but can you just share with us what makes this rendition different from the classic?
Well, first of all, the show's been running for 13 years. And when I wrote it 13 years ago, along with Michael Skoros, the composer, we never really imagined that it would run for so long and become such a holiday tradition. But we actually have families that come back every single year to see the show. It's part of their Christmas. And I think it's the company and the theater itself that make it different. We're very true to the classic story, but it's just a very warm environment. You walk in, it's friendly, it's fun. You know, people can be comfortable. It's an intimate theater, so they're very close to the action, and you know, it has beautiful music, traditional music as well as original music, and I think it's the actors that really bring it to life. You know, every year we have some that have done it before, and then we have actors who have been in it forever from the beginning. And we have a dog.
you have actors that have been in it the entire 13 years?
We do. Eric Fletcher has been in it since the very beginning, but not always Scrooge.
Wow. Well, I know you're also the vocal director. So let's talk about the dual role in this rendition.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I get to play Scrooge, which is absolutely incredible. But I also get to be the vocal director, which means I teach all of the cast their different vocal parts and the songs and all of the harmonies and things like that. And I think it's a really cool experience to be able to be both, to be able to bond with my cast in a production realm, but also be an actor and be part of it and get to be one of them. And so it makes us feel like a family. It's super fun.
So who's the star, you or the dog?
Oh, the dog is absolutely the star. Bravo is incredible at his role. He is the most believable dog you will ever see on stage. So I couldn't even come close to his level of realism.
Oh my gosh, what, that must have been something training that one with the vocals.
Oh yeah, well, you know, we actually do a little singing in the rain trick with him. Brenda does his vocals from behind, and everyone just thinks it's Bravo singing. It's amazing.
Oh, gotta love it. You see, this is, I'm a thespian myself, so I love live theater, and so I can only imagine the playtime you've all had. Sue Ellen, excuse me. Yes, please do share with us how many times you've been part of this production, if not your first.
Okay, this is my third time doing it. Last year was a little sad mix, you know, because we thought maybe we could perform, but then we ended up filming it, which was wonderful, but not what we dreamed. You know, there's nothing like a responsive audience, particularly for A Christmas Carol. There's something so touching about the audiences, and they will tell you what a family tradition it is. Many of these people, it's part of what they do every Christmas. They come to see A Christmas Carol, and there's nothing like it. You know, to be in the middle of Greenwich Village, Christmas, in a story about Christmas is just amazing. It's sweet.
It's sweet. And what role do you play?
I play Mrs. Holly, the solicitor, and I collect money for the needy.
She tries anyway.
Yeah.
I try.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Eric?
She tries anyway to collect money.
Ebenezer won't give me any.
Oh my gosh, don't give away too much. No, I'm kidding. Do what you have to get them there. I mean, this is a whole new audience we're introducing it to. So Andrea, and yourself, is this your first or your second, third, 13th?
This is my first time in this production, and it's been amazing. I play the Ghost of Christmas Past as well as Franny.
Nice. You got to exercise your range, right?
Absolutely. I get to haunt it up and then be a loving wife to Fred.
Oh my gosh, talk about therapy, right? So you know, Brenda, Sue Ellen mentioned that you guys went virtual last year, and that must have been an undertaking within itself, because now you're trying to present it in another form that is still engaging. What was that like for all of you to come together in the theater this year?
Oh, it was just amazing. I mean, the theater was closed for 13 months. And, you know, we run year round, you know, 12 months a year. So we all had separation anxiety. We were all really needing to be back together again. So it really was special this year after having a whole year away from the theater. It really was. Every year it's special, but this was even more special just to hear the audience out there. It's really different when you try to do a film piece. Just technically it's different, but also not having any response. It's just, you realize how much that fuels your performance. And it's like, theater is much more, it's interactive with the audience as well, and you build with each other. Whereas when you're filming it, you know, you don't have that element.
Yeah. So Eric, you've been doing this 13 years. You guys opened on November 28th. So what's different for you this year than all the other years?
Oh, I think I'm just more excited to do it this year, just to actually be back in front of a live audience and to tell the story. It's such a timeless story, and it always impacts what's going on in the real world. You know, you can see elements of this story in politics throughout time. And so to be able to bring this story to people now, I think is even more important than ever. So I'm just so excited to be able to do it.
I know it is a timeless classic in so many forms, right? And I personally feel that right now we need as much awareness brought into mental wellness as possible. And so the fact that you guys are doing it, and I was under the impression, I haven't seen it yet, but I will be seeing it this year. I will be coming with my daughter. That maybe you urbanized it a little bit because it is Scrooge in the East Village. So I was wondering, like, what makes it New York flavored, let's say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a lot of energy from the youth in the cast as well. We have a lot of young people who are New Yorkers in the cast, and so they bring that energy into the performance. And there's like a contemporary feel to the piece, but it is very much set back in 1843. It just relates to people today, even though it's from a long time ago.
And so I have a reaction from an audience member who, I think this makes it very New York. He says it's so neat. In other words, we are very choreographed and very crystal clear about what we're doing. And I think that's very New York.
I like that. She's like precision, that's how we do it in New York. Before we go, we cannot end this segment without discussing this wonderful program that you also offer. That is the, what is it? It's called the pre-show. Wait, I'm looking for it.
Yeah. Family workshop, family arts workshop.
Walk us through that and what that experience is like.
It is really special. A Christmas Carol is for all ages, but we wanted to have something for families that have young children where they could come to a special matinee that's for families where they didn't have to be quite as concerned about if their child was a little restless. But we also provide a pre-show workshop, and it's Eric, myself, and Michael Skoros who wrote the music. And we talked to them about how we took the book and turned it into a musical, and they get to sample some of the music and the instruments. We talk about the characters. Eric talks to them about what it's like to do theater and what we need. And so our hope is that by the time they're done with the workshop, they feel very comfortable in the space and really ready to see the show. And you can tell it works because during the show, they're just so engaged. And I think that the workshop is a big part of it. And they get to have that special contact with us, kind of come across the footlights.
Yeah, it makes it magical. It definitely makes it magical because it's like they touched it. So
yes. And this year, Bravo has been joining us for the workshop. He's the dog.
Oh my God, Bravo's in that act too.
Yes, of course. It's his favorite part, belly rubs.
Of course, after this tumultuous 2 years we've had. And thank you. Thank you for bringing cheer to our audience, to our viewers, obviously to New Yorkers, Brenda Bell, playwright, Eric Fletcher, Scrooge. We got Sue Ellen Mandel, who is a actress, and Andrea Woodbridge, who is also an actress. Once again, we're talking about A Christmas Carol, the musical, and that is currently running and will be running until December 30th. And for tickets, please visit ScroogeInTheVillage.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll get some last-minute wrapping tips as we get ready for the holidays. Don't go anywhere.
Hi everyone, this is Bronx Borough President-elect Vanessa L. Gibson, and I'm here at BronxNet to wish you and your families a wonderful, happy holiday season. During the holidays, we are reminded of our blessings and the blessings of our family, our friends, our loved ones, our neighbors, and our community. We've been through a lot over these past 2 years during the COVID-19 pandemic. But I am here to remind and encourage all of you that we are in this together, and brighter and better days lie ahead. We are tough, we are resilient, and we are Bronx strong. On behalf of BronxNet, on behalf of myself and my entire team, we wish you and your family a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Three Kings Day, and our very best to you and your family for a wonderful and happy New Year 2022. Bronx Strong.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So 'tis the season for holiday gift wrapping. Well, gift wrapping may seem simple, but for so many people, it is a challenging, tedious task. So our next guest, who is a DIY expert, nabbed 1.8 million followers on TikTok and expanded her brand, Bee and Blooms, with her creative wrapping techniques. And today she's here to share some of her unique wrapping tips and tricks. Everyone, please welcome Bee and Blooms founder, Tracie Garrett. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Oh, thanks for being here with us. You have such a fascinating story. I can't wait to share it with our viewers.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited too.
So first and foremost, inquiring minds want to know, how does an X-ray technician become a gift wrapping expert?
Well, when I had my second child, I was going back to work after my maternity leave. And then that's when COVID hit. So a lot of the daycares were closed. I really didn't have a choice but to become a stay-at-home mom, and just taking the time to reconnect with the things that I enjoy doing and making me happy, which is crafting, DIY, and wrapping. And I got on TikTok. I was trying to figure out how it worked, and I was wrapping a gift for a party, and next thing you know, here I am.
Wow, that's amazing. And I do have to say, just scrolling through your TikTok, I found it somewhat therapeutic. I mean, aside from the amazing tricks that you have, and the concepts, I'm very curious to even know how you come up with them, because they baffle me. I'm like, oh my gosh, how does she even think about that? So let's start off with just wrapping a simple box, because you even do that uniquely.
So I grew up wrapping with my mom. It's just something that I remember doing as a child. It was our favorite thing to do around the holidays. Not knowing so many people don't know how to wrap. So being able to just share that with everybody is just joyful for me. But then when my daughter started getting a little bit older and could tell what items were in what wrapping, that's when I had to get a little bit more creative and figure out how I can wrap these things where she can't just look at it and know exactly what it is. So it's just trial and error. I play around with it. I enjoy doing it. So I just play around with it. If it looks good, I run with it. If it doesn't, I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, for example, the bath gel, right? I think that's a bath gel that you're wrapping, but it's really what is it?
So it was soap.
It was soap. Okay,
Yeah.
well, the idea is that you were showing people how to reform it with the wrapping and use tissue paper at that. I found that to be very creative.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that for a wine bottle, actually. And one of my followers had actually, I was going through my comments and they said, can you wrap a Bath and Body Works soap? And I had one right there. So I grabbed it and I did the idea that I had for the wine bottle, and it turned out super cute. So I posted it. And I mean, that's another thing is a lot of the ways that I wrap, even though I'm wrapping one item, you can wrap it with so many different items. And it just makes it look a little bit more cuter.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not going to show the ukulele, but I found the ukulele to be an interesting wrap also. Yeah. You got to check out her TikTok to know what I'm talking about on that one. However, let's talk about the round object, because I got to tell you, round objects are always intimidating to wrap. The easy way out is to just kind of wrap it over it and then tie it, but you really take your time with this particular object.
Yeah, so I actually have an example that I can show you. right now my daughter is in those LOL dolls or these mini toys, and they come in balls. It's the hardest thing to wrap. So what you do is you just wrap the wrapping paper around it, make sure that this is gonna fit. And then just one end, all you're gonna do is fold it down. You're gonna tape this end, and then you're gonna put the ball in it. And instead of closing it this way, you're just gonna turn it, and then you're gonna fold it down. So the end result is gonna look like this. So it fits, it has a little bit more room for the ball, but you can't really tell that there's a ball in here. So this is my favorite, because this is actually one of the items that she said, oh, that's an LOL ball under the tree. So this is the first one that I started wrapping a little bit different.
Talk about creations, you know, that's a mom for you, you know?
Yeah, right. Wheels are always turning.
And so the other one that I found really fascinating and elegant, I might add, is the way you wrap a wine bottle.
Mm-hmm. There's so many ways you can wrap a wine bottle, which is super fun. There's with using tissue paper, without using tissue paper, just a lot of folding techniques to make the paper look fanned out. There's so many ways that you can wrap a wine bottle.
I kind of like the box that you have behind you. Like you do this little floral pattern just from creases, right? On the side of the bottle. Yeah.
So instead of, when you wrap, instead of cutting the extra paper off, I just fold it down, and then you just do two-sided tape and just fold the paper up, and it creates like a little fan. And you can do this on boxes, on wine bottles, on anything. It's super fun.
Yeah, and just in case, it's almost like a fan, like she said, like, you know, you fold it in, out, and then you just kind of spread it. And so the other item I was talking about with the round object, right? I know you just showed us, you just gave us a mini demo on how to hide like the shape of a ball, but the other object that I was talking about in the video is this round, I don't know if it was a magnet or what that was, but the time it must take to fold each crease, but yet it makes it look so pretty, right? So you have this way of making gifts look a lot more interesting wrapped.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we've also turned into a culture where we're just putting things in bags now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so there's a fun, or, you know, that's been lost in what that feels like. And sometimes even wanting to open it up carefully, like your gifts, I would open very carefully.
So when I started wrapping for my followers and helping them, not realizing so many people didn't know how to wrap, I like to do a lot of bows and ribbon, but I know that's difficult for a lot of people. So there's so many ways that you can do just by little folds that you can make the gift look unique and elegant without ribbon. So that's what I'm trying to do there, just to give people more options on how they can do that.
So I know you offer this to TikTok followers, and you know, you have a huge following, 1.8 million. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. Now, how is that assisting you with Bee and Blooms?
Originally, I started my company. I make wreaths and wall decor, and during the summer last year, and when I started doing a lot of the wrapping on TikTok and just saw that I was helping so many people, I kind of put the wreaths aside and focused on something that I'm helping people, and I'm just combining them too. It's just a brand that I like to do more of my like creative ideas, and then I'm just merging them into one
while raising 2 children.
Yes.
Yes.
trying.
But that's how we do it.
Yeah.
But that's how we do it. But you know what? There's so much joy you're radiating. You can tell that you genuinely enjoy doing it, and obviously everyone is also picking that up. But at the end of the day, you know, the idea is to balance out your lifestyle, and as I mentioned to you before, going through your handle, I found it to be very therapeutic. So I'll assume it's therapeutic for you as well.
It is, yes. Yes, it's like my little, couple minutes of my alone time. Whether when my daughter's at school, my son's napping, that it's usually my time. I can play around with some ideas that I have or record for TikTok. And it's my fun little getaway, even if it is for a half hour, an hour.
So before we go, what's the one tip that you feel is so important that everybody needs to take away with them after for this holiday season with regards to wrapping their gifts?
I would say don't run to a bag. Always try to wrap it because it is more joyful for people to unwrap. But also when you are wrapping, to always cut the extra paper off. A lot of times people get frustrated when they are wrapping because it'll end up looking bulky. And that's because they have too much paper. But I have videos on that on my Instagram and on my TikTok that'll show you how to do that.
Wonderful. And thanks for bringing it to our audience. Tracie Garrett, everyone, founder of Bee and Blooms. And once again, to learn some more wrapping tips from Tracie Garrett, all you got to do is follow her on Instagram and TikTok at Bee and Blooms. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak with a food and lifestyle blogger from the Bronx. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Keith Brown from Bronx, and how things are going? Hopefully very well. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Three Kings Day, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah too. Don't forget your shot. Take care, everybody.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a food and lifestyle blogger from the Bronx who is known as the Cake Coach. Through her blog, Made by Kay, she's been able to create a safe haven for not just bakers or food lovers, but for the entire community. Her mission is all about wellness, community, while also supporting the next bakers, chefs, connect through our mutual love for food. Joining us to discuss her 12 days of giving that she did for the holidays and her series Lit Black Foodie and upcoming events, please welcome Made by Kay Kitchen founder Kay Elle. Hello and welcome.
Guys, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here and thank you for your service to our community.
Oh, my pleasure. Oh, my pleasure.
It is really remarkable to come across individuals who are artists and artisans, but yet service driven. And so let's just briefly share with our viewers what this 12 days of giving concept is and why you even came up with that.
Okay, so for me, every Christmas, every holiday season in my brand, I'm like, okay, you have to do something creative, you have to do something fun, and most importantly, you have to give back. Like, that's just the nature of my brand. That's like what we stand by. So I was like, okay, we always do a toy drive, but kind of like kick it up, right? Do what you can. And I had this idea because, everyone has 12 days of Christmas. I said, instead of like receiving, how about we do something that's more geared towards giving? And it was truly amazing. Each day we gave something back, whether it was a discount, a free coaching service, or something for families, photography, pictures, any way that we can service someone. I tried to nestle that in the 12 days of Christmas. It was beautiful, like people participated and just was really engaged. And I think it was because the idea and the creativity about, 12 days and it's like, okay, what's coming next? And it was just so dope to see the community participate. So I loved it. Just giving back just feels good. So it was a way to give back with 12 times.
All right. So, we introduced you as a food blogger, but in essence, you're also a photographer and you offered these free family photos, which was very generous, right? Especially during this time period where I think we all want to be documented, celebrating that, we're free again, kind of, sort of. I don't know.
Right.
It's a matter of opinion.
Right. Just a little bit.
Yeah. and then there's Made by Kay Kitchen, which is your blog, and I love this concept of Lit Black Foodie because there's this woke component to the way you move and the way you operate, and not just for yourself, but for anybody who's involved within your circle. So
Yes.
let's talk about those two components as well, right? Because I already said photography, you're taking pictures of your own food, plus you're designing your own food. You come from a food background, but it's not just that. It's really about like, how can we make it, how can we customize it to elevate our community?
Yes, yes. I feel like for one, you have to be the example, right? And if people see you moving, they will follow suit. In our community, Black people have been made to feel like they cannot do something that's out of the norm, out of the box, out of the safe zone. And my whole life, I've been out of the safe zone, and people look at me like, oh, she's doing something amazing. And it's like, no, I'm doing something that you can do, right? So with Lit Black Foodie, I was like, how can I empower Black chefs and Black bakers? There's so much talent in the Bronx, and I'm just like, we need to showcase this. Why not me? Like, why do we have to wait for someone to choose us? Like, why not just do it? So I came up with the idea of creating a competition series. I want to give money to the community because we need money to thrive. And the first one was in April of 2021. We gave a $1,500 grant away. We sourced it through the community and through my own pocket, my fiance's pocket. Like, we just made it happen. Like, there's no excuses, make it happen. There was a lucky winner, $1,500. And my goal is to have it hybrid, do online as well as in person. And the next online competition will be in January of 2022. So just giving back, empowering, making people feel like your business matters and your business can be taken to the next level. Somebody got your back.
That's lovely. That's really, really empowering. And so with that $1,500, like, how does one qualify to win that grant? Like, what is your process?
So for one, it has to be at least 51% owned by someone Black, right? And I'm very particular about Black because our community specifically, we're drowning in the business area and just economics, right? So you have to be Black, you have to have a business that's baking or cooking. So you can be a foodie, you can be a professional. If you are consistent and serious about your brand and have some type of platform, you can qualify.
And so, you know, it's so lovely to see somebody who is also developing her own brand already pass it forward while you're still in development. Because, I mean, I know your website is under construction. I know you said you're going to launch in January 2022, but I also love the fact that you're basing it on your relation with the public.
Yes, yes. I'm very, like, just intentional about that. Like, everything is family. And people think that you're going to get further by being by yourself, but you're going to get further when you do it together. And I just want to be that example that, like, we need, it's not a suggestion, it's a requirement that we work together so that we can go further faster.
Nice. And so before we go, let's talk about your upcoming event. You have a virtual vision board party.
Yes, yes. Going into 2022, we want to make sure that we're just, you know, strategizing. I've been very passionate. My first business was in 2011. So that was like over 10 years ago. So I've learned a lot and I just want to continue to pass it forward. So we're going to do a virtual vision board party on December 29th.
And so how does anyone sign up for that?
So just follow me, Made by Kay Kitchen on Instagram, send us a DM and we'll get you started.
All right. What before we absolutely go, what do we have to look forward from you?
I'm just excited about sharing myself through the lens. And so I'm going to be doing YouTube full time. I was a little nervous to do YouTube, but I'm saying, like, that's just the wave. You have so much to give. And I think that people could benefit from learning more about you and your process. So YouTube for Made by Kay Kitchen is up next.
And so when you say YouTube, are you going to be teaching people how to bake?
Yes, ma'am. So we're going to be doing everything foodie. We're going to be vlogging. I'm going to be going to, like, Black-owned restaurants. I'm going to be going to Bronx native restaurants, doing reviews, cooking. You know, I'm not like a trained chef. You know, I'm in my house and people like, what? You do this by yourself? Sure do. So I just want to show people anybody could do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much though. I went through your stuff and, you know, I left there hungry is what I did.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
Oh my gosh. Continue the great work and thank you for bringing it to our viewers, everyone. Kay Elle, LK. I did it backwards.
No, you're right. Kay Elle. Yep. That's
Kay Elle.
initials. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. You got it right.
I introduced you the opposite way. And you're like, yeah, KLLK. But at the end of the day, it's really made by Kay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Happy holidays to you. For those sweet delights, you guys, be sure to follow Made by Kay Kitchen by following her on Instagram at Made by Kay Kitchen. Stay tuned because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Just not roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Hey guys, this is Cody from BronxNet TV, wishing you and your families a warm and blessed Christmas and a happy new year. Peace, guys.
The buck stops here. Following weeks of speculation, the New York Mets have hired their new manager. According to a tweet from team owner Steve Cohen, Buck Showalter will take over as the newest skipper in Queens. Reports have Buck inking the largest managerial deal in club history. The veteran skipper, a former Yankee minor leaguer and manager, will now take over a Mets dugout that has been something of a revolving door since Terry Collins' 7-year run as manager ended after the 2017 season. Mickey Callaway was fired after 2 years following the short-lived hiring of Carlos Beltran due to his involvement in the Astros cheating scandal. Bench coach Luis Rojas took over the manager's mantle heading into 2020. He finished with a disappointing 103-119 mark, a record I would expect Showalter, a 3-time manager of the year, to improve on. Showalter headlines the 5th spot here on 5 on 5. We'll stick with baseball at 4. The Yankees may not be making moves on the field with the lockout, but the club is certainly doing its share of spreading cheer and hope away from the diamond. The Pinstripers held their 12th annual Winter Wonderland holiday toy event this past week, navigating around the COVID-19 pandemic to distribute so many toys to thousands of children. We caught up with the Yankees and some local staffers for this story.
It's a priority. You know, everybody knows the Yankees for being a champion on the field, but that same drive and focus is part of our commitment is being a productive member of this community. And we're committed throughout our organization to get the job done day in and day out. And we're happy to put a smile on these young people's face during the holiday season.
It makes a big difference. We have a lot of kids that are underprivileged. Their parents are in shelters. They're having a hard time. Most of our teachers try to help out raising. We do fundraisers to raise toys. So actually we are short. We're short of 98 gifts this year. So these 50 makes a big difference.
Nice story there. We'll keep the good holiday vibes going with the Brooklyn Nets. Reform Alliance and rapper Meek Mill teamed up with the Nets and the New York Liberty to host a special VIP experience at Barclays Center for children from 5 community-based organizations. The group started with a shopping spree at the team store, Brooklyn Fanatics, where Nets alum Albert King and Liberty's Dee Dee Richards helped the kids shop. Meek Mill also stopped by to speak with the group after shopping. The group watched pregame shoot-around and received special shout-outs from Nets players Blake Griffin and Patty Mills and Nets GM Sean Marks. Following shoot-around, the group had a private dinner in the 4040 Club, then watched the Nets take on the Orlando Magic from the suites. Pretty cool story. Here's more. In the 2 spot, the New York Giants and New York Jets will share, having both posted defeats last Sunday. We'll start with the Jets. Gang Green was definitely more in the game in Miami against the Dolphins, despite the final outcome.
Yeah, I thought they did some good things in the second half that, made it tough on us, and, we just got to keep going, trying to execute, and, just get going, really, I think is all it was. I really thought, even in the second half, I didn't think, we were doing anything terrible, but we weren't, completing passes, and got sacked, too many times. So it's going to be some good learning experiences for us to clean up.
Can't say the same for the G-men at home against Dallas. We go back inside the locker room for more.
Got to figure it out. If I had that answer, I think I would be playing a lot better, to be completely honest. But at the end of the day, just got to go back to trusting myself, trusting the team, trusting the line, leading, come to work every single day, and push myself, push the guys around me. And, like I said, I think I said it before, I'm a big believer in things that you want to accomplish only happens if you work for it. And, everything that I want to accomplish in my career is still out there. Still young in my career. Season's still not over. So just every single day, just go out there and attack it and try to get better.
And at number 1, Jake Paul does it again. He defeats former MMA champion Tyron Woodley with a 6-round knockout in their second boxing match against each other last weekend. That fight card also featured former NFL star Frank Gore and former NBA star Darren Williams. Williams was impressive in the celebrity boxing showdown with Gore, taking the victory. He kind of helped the NBA community rebound a bit following Nate Robinson's poor showing in the ring. Man, oh man, this is some time to be alive, folks. Speaking of, on the back end here of 5 on 5, we have more postponements and cancellations due to COVID-19 in sports, unfortunately. The Brooklyn Nets lost 2 games earlier in the week. The team has been completely decimated, despite welcoming back point guard Kyrie Irving, at least for games outside of New York, since he's still not vaccinated. He, too, entered health and safety protocols. The New York Rangers on the ice also lost a game midweek. We'll have more details here in the C-List. Stay tuned. At 2, the G-Men will be in Philadelphia this Sunday to face the rival Eagles at 1 p.m. Meanwhile, at 3, the Jets are home to face Jacksonville at 1 p.m. on Sunday. The Jacks just fired head coach Urban Meyer and secured the number 1 pick yet again in the NFL draft. Jets should be able to win this one. At 4, the Knicks will face Atlanta and Trae Young on Christmas Day. That game gets underway at noon. Always a big day for the NBA on Christmas. And at 5, Fordham University and Rose Hill has changed its policy for fans for the next few basketball games. Fans will not be allowed to attend the men's game against Massachusetts on January 2nd and a women's contest versus Florida Gulf Coast on December 29th. The rise in COVID cases also affected the men's game this past Wednesday against Georgia Southern. The policy will be reassessed when campus reopens on January 5th prior to the women's Atlantic 10 contest with St. Louis. We head to the C-List for more on COVID-19 and its effect on pro sports. COVID-19 continues to be a difficult obstacle in so many ways. It has become the main opponent of several professional leagues and, as we just mentioned, university sports programs, as teams are forced to change their game plan in the face of positive tests or coronavirus exposures. The cancellations and postponements are the latest disruption in the U.S. due to the increased spread of COVID-19 and new variants, too, as many athletes are being asked to quarantine due to league protocols. Here's an overview from our last glance at the time of this recording. The NHL postpones games in the U.S. and Canada. 27 NHL games had been postponed heading into the week. Meantime, the NFL postpones 3 games. The NFL and NBA are changing their COVID-19 protocols. In fact, as cases have continued to rise, last Sunday's scheduled games between the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles and between the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams were also postponed until this past Tuesday. The NFL describes the COVID-19 reserve list as being for players who either test positive for COVID-19 or who have been quarantined after having been in close contact with an infected person or persons. We're seeing a lot of that, unfortunately, of late. NFL teams are not permitted to comment on the medical status of players other than referring to roster status. Clubs may not disclose whether a player is in quarantine or is positive for the virus. The NBA postpones 5 games while the NCAA men's basketball calendar has been turned completely upside down, with more than a dozen games canceled or postponed in recent days. Most notably, games between number 2 Duke and Loyola and between number 4 UCLA and North Carolina scheduled were canceled due to COVID-19 issues within the programs. 2 other men's top 25 games were canceled closer to home. Number 16 Seton Hall was about to play Iona, but officials said the game could not be played because of the protocols at Seton Hall. As we have said all along, keep praying during this holiday season, wishing everyone health and happiness. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Axelbank, the host of Bronx Talk and the Bronx Buzz on BronxNet Television. Just want to wish all my friends and neighbors and everybody far and wide happy holidays. This has been a very, very difficult time for all of us. But you know, if we stick together, if we wear our masks, if we socially distance, if we do all the things we need to do, we can all survive and do real well. Hug your friends, hug your neighbors, kiss your kids, and happy holidays from me and from all of us at BronxNet.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. Our last guest is a singer, songwriter, and saxophonist from NYC who's known for her soulful vocals and energetic, unique style. Throughout her career, she's been able to travel the world and collaborate with various artists. She's all about using her platform to encourage aspiring musicians to explore their own artistry, blur the lines of genres, and step out of the box of what's conventional. Everyone, let's welcome Gabi Rose. Hello.
Hi, Rhina. How's it going?
Oh, we're good. How are you?
I'm great. Wednesday's my day off, so I'm enjoying it. I'm practicing some music, and I get to talk to you today.
Oh my gosh, exciting. I mean, you lead quite the exciting lifestyle, I would say.
I do.
I visited like your handles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like always an adventure.
It's always something.
And I gotta say, I do admire the fact that you have the ability to sing and play sax at the same time.
Thank you. Well, I wish I could actually do it at the same time, but I try my best. I try to just go with one and the other as fast as possible.
I didn't say simultaneously, but you have the sax, you sing, and then you play the sax, and then you sing. I mean, that within itself is like almost, I guess, playing with vocal ranges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. It's all about breath control. It's definitely, I've definitely improved on it the past few years, and it works a lot more seamlessly for me now.
So you've been playing the saxophone since you were 10 years old, right? Mm-hmm. How did you get into that particular instrument? Why is that the instrument that you're drawn to?
I was actually talking to my parents about this recently because I was trying to figure out why. My brother had already started playing the trumpet, so I thought the trumpet was cool. I was already playing the violin, and I loved the violin. But my parents tell me it's for 2 reasons, really. One, they said that I thought it looked really cool, and it does. The saxophone looks super cool. So they said it was because of that, and also because I think I just really had that sound in my head. So growing up, my dad really liked jazz music. He listened to a lot of, Kenny G, and I used to love it, especially on holiday music. He listened to Steely Dan. So groups like that, I just really loved the way it sounded. So I think I was just drawn to it, and I already had it ingrained in my head that I knew I wanted to do that.
And the other part to it is that it isn't really dominated by women. It's predominantly men that play saxophones.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I just fell in love with it, and I'm just lucky that I continued to do it. And for sure, you don't see too many women doing it. So I think I'm just very blessed in that way that I've developed a skill that's a little bit more uncommon.
Yeah, and unique too. So let's talk about this out the box concept you got going on here, because it's in your style. Obviously, it's in your hair color. Mm-hmm. It's even in your branding, because you have a really wide range. Your sound is eclectic.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to kind of figure out my artistry in not just playing the saxophone, not just singing. I try to live by it every single day. So whether that's the room, the studio that I decide to design and spend all my time in, the clothes that I wear, the way I do my hair, it's all part of expressing myself creatively. Because even growing up, I wouldn't say that I knew I was going to be a musician and I was going to focus on this as a career. I just knew that I wanted to do something creative. So whether that was drawing, painting, dancing, acting, it was always something like that. So I've just always been a very creative person, and it definitely shows itself now with me as a saxophonist.
Well, yeah, that within itself is unique. And so I always ask our artists, especially our performers, what was life during COVID, and what does it look like now post-COVID? I mean, we're still in, in the trial zone, but I mean, we'll say shelter in place. Shelter in place. How about that?
Well, I'm so happy, first of all, that, things are definitely getting better. But at the peak of COVID, it was pretty scary for sure. But what I decided to do, since I couldn't perform regularly anymore, I was treating creating videos and creating online content as my full-time job. So I got a lot better at doing that, and I was doing that consistently. So it kept me busy, it kept my creative juices flowing, and it helped me to build this platform that I now have online. And then especially when live gigs started to come back, I felt like I was primed in a different way. I had a different perspective as an artist, and I had improved and I got a lot better. And now where I'm at in my career, I don't know if I would be where I am right now if it weren't for the time that I spent creating during the pandemic. So I'm definitely in a much better place right now.
And so when you say creating during the pandemic, are we referring to the media arts aspect of it, or the musical aspect of it, the songwriting, the composition, like all of it?
All of it. It was a little bit of everything. So I also, aside from just the online content and getting a TikTok, I got a TikTok this year. That's opened a lot of doors for me. Aside from just creating online and learning how to video edit and brand myself in a new and unique way, I also started writing an album, and I put together my first sort of original project, which I almost did as a solo project, but I kind of wanted to get more people involved. My producer, Anthony Lapardo, who I was already sort of doing some studio work with, he really encouraged me to do this. So I wanted to sort of open it up to becoming a band, a group project that I could ultimately run and make it my vision, but see where it could go. So I decided to name that N Rose, and I started releasing original music this year under that name.
That's wonderful. Wow, so much. It's so fascinating when I hear these stories, right? Because yes, while we have endured a lot of loss, there's been this whole revitalization within the creative genre in so many ways, and it's been really refreshing, at least for me, to be able to share with our viewers that there is light at the end of the tunnel, for lack of a better word, in the sense of like, well, really think about it. Perhaps if you weren't like sheltered in place, would you have really taken the time to enhance your editing abilities, your media creative abilities, and or spend all this time on TikTok?
It's true. I don't know if I would have, because I'm so busy with going out and doing live gigs all the time that I don't know if I would have prioritized some of the things that I ended up prioritizing during that time. And I just met so many more people, and I connected with people even if I couldn't necessarily in person. So you're absolutely right. It's a cool story, and there ended up being a lot of positives to it.
That's wonderful. And we're so looking forward to you sharing it with our viewers, because of course she's going to give us a taste of one of those pieces that she created over the pandemic.
Yes.
So you guys don't go anywhere, because when we return, Gabi Rose is going to perform for us Wait, Create by her and N Rose. Don't go anywhere.
So wishing everyone out there a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Three Kings Day. Here at BronxNet, Arlene Makoko.
Hey everyone, welcome back here now to perform, await, create. Let's give it up for Gabi Rose.
Thank you, Rhina. This is a song I wrote for my band and Rose. We create and multiply. If they do it, so can I. Money don't buy 1 second of time. I don't need competition. I need happiness, whatever that is. But if I'm there, I'm winning. My time ain't ticking. Wait, gotta get my jeans on. There's nothing gonna happen without those things on. Gotta get a little uncomfortable, and anything is possible. Yeah, what we did, whatever we are, and what I'm used to. But I'm still loving it. Took all day, but finally headed my way. Took control of the force, need a new course. Yeah, I want my soul on fire. I want my soul on fire. Like that bass line, like a good rhyme. Make it clear, make it loud for the people in the back to hear. In the back to hear. We create and multiply. If they do it, so can I. Money don't buy 1 second of time. I don't need competition. I need happiness, whatever that is. But if I'm there, I'm winning. My time ain't ticking. Oh, I almost forgot. It's Christmas Eve. I need to do a Christmas song. I know which one I'm gonna do. Happy holidays, everybody.
Bueno, Kenny G. Look out, Kenny G. We got Gabi Rose. Woo! You guys, for more on Gabi Rose, you can follow her on Instagram at Gabi Rose Music, and her original music with her band and Rose can be found on all streaming platforms. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Happy holidays all. Merry Christmas.